What's up, everyone? Welcome to the May 6th edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have an 11-game MLB slate tonight. It was supposed to be 13. We lost the Philadelphia game to rain. We lost the Yankees game to rain, but still plenty of offenses to attack, plenty of pitchers to choose from. Do keep in mind as we go through this video that as of right now, the Philadelphia game is still in the top stacks and top pitchers tool. So that changes the percentages, changes the numbers a little bit. But overall, it shouldn't have too big of an impact on what we're talking about. But if you are an Awesemo.com subscriber, be sure to refresh the top stacks and top pitchers tool later on in the day once that game is removed. But we're going to take a look now at three of the top tournament stacks on FanDuel. Three of the top tournament stacks and three of the top tournament pitchers, but we're going to start with the tournament stacks. Number three, the Baltimore Orioles helped me win a tournament last night, came through in a big way with 5 home runs. They're only projected for 3% ownership tonight, 6% chance of being the top scoring stack. They're taking on Carlos Hernandez, who has been absolutely awful so far this year for Kansas City. Hernandez is a hard thrower. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns things around eventually. But so far through his first 4 starts this year, he's only struck out 9.5% of the hitters that he's faced. Meanwhile, he's walked 11.9%, 5.58 xFIP for Hernandez. He has just been extremely bad. And while Baltimore has been a below average offense overall with a 92 WRC plus and a 118 ISO, there are some names in this lineup that are quality hitters. You have Cedric Mullins, Mancini, Santander, Hayes, Mountcastle. All those guys, expected to hit 1 through 5 are quality hitters that have some power. Once you get to the bottom of the order for Baltimore, it becomes a little bit more difficult to be confident in guys. Rougned Odor, Ramon Urias, Ben Boom, Jorge Mateo, who actually has hit relatively well to start the season. But names that, you're certainly not nearly as confident in, but it's not like it's a completely watered down Baltimore lineup. 1 through 5, there is actually some power. Mullins gives you some speed upside as well. Number 2, the Colorado Rockies projected for 1% ownership with a 6% chance of being the top scoring stack. They're taking on Merrill Kelly tonight in Arizona. Kelly's been solid to start the season. He's struck out 22.8% of hitters. He has a 3.38 xFIP. The Rockies have also been a solid offense, though, with a 108 WRC plus and a 168 ISO. When you look at the Rockies lineup, it's certainly not the most appealing collection of names, but there are some guys in there that we know have power. CJ Cron in particular has a lot of it. Connor Joe seems to actually be a pretty solid hitter. You have Blackman, Grichuk, Ryan McMahon. So it doesn't carry the same sort of name value as some other stacks, but they are still projected to go under-owned here with a 3.9 implied run total against Kelly. And number 1, the Milwaukee Brewers projected for 7% ownership, a 7% chance of being the top scoring stack. The Brewers have a 4.3 implied run total tonight, going up against what is expected to be Jesse Chavez opening and Spencer Strider following him out of the bullpen. Strider has posted very good strikeout numbers so far this year, striking out about 32% of the hitters that he's faced, but he's also walked 18% of hitters. He has a 4.18 xFIP, and he's only thrown 16 innings in his career above the Double-A level. So this is someone that is a huge wild card right now, huge question mark, a lot of volatility here. And you get a Brewers offense that has plenty of power, 181 ISO so far this year, 108 WRC plus for Milwaukee, not pulling a ton of ownership. And I do like attacking this spot where I think there is a lot of volatility. Now, looking at the top 3 pitchers on FanDuel, number 3, Logan Gilbert, projected for 6% ownership with a 6% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. Gilbert has good strikeout stuff. He's struck out 24.8% of hitters this year, 3.47 xFIP, 0.64 home runs per 9. Does have a difficult matchup going up against Tampa Bay. The Rays have a 114 WRC plus this season. They've been a solid team offensively, but Gilbert certainly has plenty of strikeout upside and isn't getting much ownership here. Eric Lauer, number 2, projected for 2% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. He's $9,500 and taking on the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have a 98 WRC plus so far this season, but looking at the names in that lineup and knowing they got back Ronald Acuna, I do expect that offense to start to be better, but they have also struck out 25% of the time. Lauer himself has been excellent so far this season, however. He leads the slate with a 36.6% strikeout percentage. He has a 2.25 xFIP. I don't expect those numbers to continue at that rate. His strikeout percentage is like 12 points higher than it was last year. His xFIP is about 2 full runs lower. So I certainly expect him to come back to earth at least somewhat, but he is also 26 years old. It's possible that he's just improving and that you do see better numbers from him this year than he had last year. Even last year, he struck out 24% of hitters, though. So the strikeout stuff is there, the ceiling is there, and there's not much ownership coming into Lauer. And number one, Kevin Gausman, projected for 7% ownership with an 8% chance of being the top scoring pitcher. He's $10,400 taking on the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland's actually been good offensively so far this year. They have a 114 WRC plus. They've only struck out 20.5% of the time, but I have a hard time believing that they continue to be good offensively. This lineup just really does not have many hitters that you anticipate being good for a full season. The middle of the order can do some damage with Ramirez and Reyes in particular, but really not a scary lineup. They only have a 3 implied run total here, and Gausman's been excellent so far this season for the Blue Jays. He struck out 33.6% of hitters, which gives him the second highest strikeout percentage on the slate. He has yet to walk a batter. He's yet to give up a home run. He has a 1.64 xFIP, which is also the best mark on the slate. Really like getting to Gausman here, even at the elevated salary. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on FanDuel: number 3, the Baltimore Orioles; number 2, the Colorado Rockies; and number 1, the Milwaukee Brewers. And the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Logan Gilbert; number 2, Eric Lauer; and number 1, Kevin Gausman.